Good evening and welcome to WOSFL Weekly episode 8. I'm your host, Jonny Baillie, and I'm delighted tonight to be joined by ex-Grade 1 referee and Pyramid Promotions OG, Des Roache. Des, how are you?
I'm good, guys. I'm good. How are you, Jonny?
I'm good. I was just explaining to Des before we came on air. I'm in a bit of a bit of chaos tonight. I usually do this in my office at home, which is getting renovated into my son's bedroom. So I ordered a new desk, which didn't arrive. So I'm currently sitting on a toy box with my laptop balanced on top of a tumble dryer, which is then on top of a trunk that holds all our tools in it. So if it all falls apart and falls down, you lose me during the episode, Des. I know you'll pick it up and carry on where we left off. All right, mate?
Yeah, that's fine, Jonny. We'll do what we can, mate. We'll do what we can.
Brilliant. Great to have you with us. Everybody that's watching on YouTube just now, remember you can get involved in the show. Any comments, questions you have for Des, anything about refereeing, particularly because it's been quite a topic with all the managers that have been on the show so far. So that's why I was really keen to get Des to come on. So if you have any questions about refereeing in the west of Scotland, we'll try and get Des to answer them if he can. You'll also be able to rewatch this show on YouTube, and it should be available on audio form on all podcast networks by the end of tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could hit the like button and subscribe to the Pyramid Promotions channel, that would be amazing. And if you would like to help us out by becoming a member of the Pyramid Promotions channel, that would help us out a lot. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it would go a long way to enabling us to keep bringing you the top quality content that we bring you week in and week out. Shout out to our sponsors. We've got a new sponsor, Roxburgh Insurance Brokers, who have kindly sponsored us. So thanks very much to them. And of course, VSN Sport, who sponsor us as well. If you're looking for any bespoke teamwear, speak to Gaz down at VSN. Numbers going along the bottom of the screen just now, and he'll sort you out. Okay, so let's get into it.
Right, okay. If things have dropped off, I think Johnny's powers went away there, so I'll pick it up. Lots of really good things happening at the weekend. I think the biggest thing that we should start off in is the Scottish Junior Cup semi-final, Johnsonborough against Largs. Do you really think Largs would get the win up at Keene Park? See, to be fair, I was 50-50 on it. Both Murdy and Arnie are good friends of mine, good friends of the show. We know them well. But see, going back down to Barfields next week, I
Des,
think
sorry. Sorry, mate.
you're back.
Sorry. Aye, with a power drop in the house, so obviously the electrician's been up to no good as well in the
Well, so
house.
you're not the
Sorry, mate.
fucking
Sorry.
electrician.
I know. Listen, I wouldn't even touch it. So sorry
Excuse my
to everybody.
language.
But I'm back. So where were we, Des? We talked about the Scottish Cup.
Yes, I was. I picked it up there and saying
Were you talking about the
that
Scottish Cup?
it was a fantastic result for Largs yesterday, and said I don't think that anybody would be feeling confident going down to Barfields next week with a 1-0 deficit to it, and particularly knowing Arnie. And as I know Arnie, I know Murphy, I know them well, but would you want to go down there knowing that you need to score 2 to get through?
Aye, I think PG.
I'm not sorry to interrupt. I was sitting at the dinner table and I saw that you'd froze, and I was like, I need to get on.
Well, I'm okay. I'm back. I had the power drop in the house, so it just came back.
I'll pick it up.
Well, Des, I'd actually messaged you saying talk while he's frozen just now.
Did you? I've not even looked at it.
My apologies, gents. I didn't mean to interrupt. Carry on, Johnny.
You're fine. No, listen. If you want to stay, you can stay. If you're not enjoying your.
I'll stay for a wee bit. Aye.
Right. Okay. We'll just talk about Scottish Cup. I watched. I don't know if you saw it, but I watched Murdy's interview after the game, and I watched Arnie's interview after the game as well. I think Arnie looked the happier manager, which you would expect having won the game. But I think Murdy, I've seen him a couple of times, and he's kind of been quite strong with his words, and he said they were poor. He thought they were poor, which is interesting. So it's just there's such a long time. I think he said they've got 8 games between now and the second leg. That's a bit of a nonsense, but I think Murdy will be fired up to go and try and get that victory if he thought they didn't play well.
I never actually saw any of the interviews for yesterday, but is it the 18th of May that's the final day or the semi-final? When's the final?
I don't know.
Is that the 26th?
Is it
the 20th? So a week later. See, to be honest, I think that would make sense. Murdy's, they would have been expected to win, particularly at Keene Park, and it's definitely going to be difficult for them going to Largs to try and get the win.
Aye. Listen, nobody wants. See, if you put your hat on it, who would go to Barfields expecting to win? So Borough need to win. Borough need to score 2 goals to win the game. Right? It's really difficult. As I say, we know Murdy, we know Arnie. I think it's a really, really tall ask.
They've got the quality to go down there and score 2 goals, though. You know, that's.
Aye, but are you going to bet against Largs not scoring?
Oh no, definitely not. Definitely not. I think it's finally poised. I just wish it was next week. I know it's impossible to organise, but I just wish it was next week and you had a wee bit of, and then both teams had the week off to prepare and go into the second leg, because it's such a big game. It just seems like it gets forgetting about a wee bit, and you want to try and build on the things that you've not done so well in the first leg and expose the things that maybe you see in the opposition team, and they're not really going to get the chance. Either team's not really going to get the chance to do that because they've got such a break in between.
Aye, I can see that. I can see that. I think Largs are in the driving seat just now.
Oh, they'd have to be. I think. I don't know what you think, PG, but as Des says, going to Largs is difficult for any team, and you would never bet against them at home, would you?
No, I think as well, Largs are particularly difficult to beat. I mean, you see the fact that, speaking to Hoppy, he was saying that Largs were the best team they've played this season, earlier in the year when they gave them a bit of going over down there. It's no surprising that Largs have been a team that end Clydebank's unbeaten run as well. I think that I wouldn't say underrated team, but they're one of the teams that they're a really solid team. And it'll be hard for the Barra to get something for them, I think, particularly like Des has said, the fact they need to go and win by 2. I think it might be too much for them.
Aye, definitely. So you tipping Largs then, Des, after the weekend?
I think at this moment in time, I think it would be really difficult not to say that Largs are the ones in the driving seat. So yeah, as I say, both are friends, both are people that I speak to, but I think that Arnie's in the driving seat.
Right, it'll be a cracking game if you can get up and watch it. It'll be exciting. I think Arnie kind of said it was a bit tense, as you would expect the semi-finals to be. They're always going to be tight affairs. And then next week, obviously, we've got Trinent via Drumchapel next week, which will be a cracker as well. We'll be covering that on the show as well. Midtown Sheriff just saying it's 1st of June for the final. So
is it 1st of June? Okay, so it's the following week.
So a week after the this.
That may be a good one for us to try and get into.
I go on holiday the 1st of June, PG.
But we're always so selfish.
I'll cancel my flight at 4 o'clock in the morning to Spain, so I can go to Broadwood.
It's back at
I know,
Broadwood,
it's much
isn't it?
better. Much better.
It's back at Broadwood, isn't it?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, they've got that deal with it all
In fact, there you go. The last time Largs were in the Scottish Cup final, I was
Is this going to be Des's quiz?
I'll get Johnny's quiz for Des later.
I'll be going by that time. Don't worry about it. The last time they won it, Des, do you know the year they won it last time?
It was in the 90s, wasn't it?
When Largs won the last time Largs won the Scottish Junior Cup.
Aye, so you've repeated that to buy yourself more time to think about it.
It was in the 90s.
94.
94. The only reason I know that is because the manager of Lars, John Crawford's a good friend of mine.
Well, I remember George Wall was the assistant manager at Maryhill when I was there, and he was part of that team, and he never shut up about it. Granted, that's fair enough, because I don't even think they were in the top division when they won it. No.
I don't know, but like I said, John's a good mate of mine. He's actually just retired. He's been coaching at United for about the last 100 years or something like that. So, and he's just finally stepped away for the United Academy. So I don't suppose you'll be listening or watching, but if you are, John, all the best, and I hope you're well. So,
look, Jed, I'm going to shoot, and I'll let you carry on. I came in just I thought you'd frozen completely, Johnny.
No, I'm back. I'm all right.
No worries, guys. Enjoy the show.
Cheers.
All right,
see you later.
Cheers, he flew in there, didn't he? Like Superman or something, like Batman.
And what does he say all the time, Johnny? He doesn't have enough time to be getting involved.
I know, and he can just jump on willy-nilly whenever he wants. You know what I mean?
Busy guy.
I know. I was actually back before he even got on. So what was I going to say? I don't know if you've seen. Did you see any of the videos of the kind of carry on behind the goals with the Johnston Borough supporters and stuff like that? Did you see any of that?
Aye, I seen that. I watched that, but listen, it's just young Wayne's, isn't it?
I know. It's such a shame. Like, I love the fact that more youngsters are coming along to games. We had them when I was at Lugar. We had a lot of we had a wee group of youngsters that used to come along, and I think it's brilliant to come along with their drums and they sing songs. And when I was at Cowannon Meadow yesterday, there was groups for each team at opposite ends of the park, and it was class. But just stop trying to be hard. Do you know what I mean? Just enjoy the game, have a laugh, have a carry on. You know, you're not in the football factory. You know, just enjoy the game and make a noise and have a good time, because that's what it's all about. We don't want to see any kind of unsavoury scenes. We want everybody to enjoy. One of the best things about this football at this level, I think, Des, is the fact that you can go and you can walk about and you can talk to people and you can have a bit of banter with people and all that kind of thing. And we don't want to lose that, do we?
No, absolutely. Completely agree. I mean, I remember there was a few years ago in Renfrew, we were at the old Western Park, and we had a wee sort of ultras group, and they were banging the drums and stuff like that. And do you know what? Us as a committee and that, we laughed at it. We not laughed at them, laughed with them. It was brilliant. It was just bringing a wee bit of what would you say, enlightenment and stuff like that. Just a wee bit of fun. But no, the guys just need to make sure they know what the level is and where to draw a line.
Aye, definitely. Liam Collo in the chat is saying he thinks the second leg will be Largs 4, Johnston Borough 5, and then Willie Sewell will score in the 90th minute to make it 5 each, and Largs will get to the final. I tell you get a few quid in that about it, McBookie, if you go and put it on. That's it.
Well, McBookie, come and sponsor us if you want.
Come and get involved. Give us a price if you're listening, McBookie. Come and give us a price for Largs 5, Johnston Borough 5 in the Scottish Cup semi-final on the 18th of May. That'd be worth a punt, definitely. Okay, mate. We'll go into the Premier Division now. I'll get the results down the bottom of the screen for everybody that's watching. Obviously, there's no much to talk about at the top, kind of middle end of the table, all the actions at the bottom. Although what I would say, Des, that's Clydebank 2 games without a win. Is Gordon Moffat under pressure?
He's under as much pressure as he wants to be. Absolutely not.
It's not a serious question, Des. You're all right. It's not.
I know. I think if Moff turned round tomorrow and said to Grace, I want a 10-year contract with a 10-year option on it, he would get it.
Aye, and fully deserved probably as well. But on the flip side of that, how do you think he will be a wee bit concerned? Because obviously it's looking if they're going to have to go into this playoff, you want to keep the momentum going. Do you know what I mean? Or do you think this will be able to just give them a wee jag to refocus them going into the playoff?
I think it would be the wee jag just to say, look, you've won the league. However, you've not clinched the deal yet. So this is what you need to do. I would say that Gordon and Colin will turn that right round and make sure that the team, the players go, right, you've had your wee bit of grace, so to speak. Now you need to turn it up. And I would fully expect Clydebank to go on, move up the league. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Clydebank outside the top 3 next year in the Lone League. I think Clydebank could get a fantastic infrastructure behind them, get a fantastic management team. They've got a forthright vision as well that they want to do, and they can back it up. So I think they're entitled to these wee couple of weeks. Right, okay, we've won the league. Right, now they need to turn it on, and we'll see how that brings it about.
Yep, and I'm sure they will. Okay, down to the serious business of the bottom end of the table. If we start with Darvel, obviously the news of the sanction to Johnstone Borough came out through the media this week. I've still not seen anything official from the league. Have you? Have you seen anything? Is there?
No, I've just only seen it through the Daily Record that we've all commented on.
I know. What's your thoughts?
I think it's the West of Scotland's not going to. I've got no affiliation anymore, obviously. I think it's very poor from the West of Scotland, to be perfectly fair. This has taken 4 weeks to get to a decision. The game happened on the Saturday. The referee's report went in on the Sunday. It'll have been dealt with by the SFA on the Monday, and they've taken 4 weeks to deliberate it. Now, you and I and Paul, Paul just jumped on there, right, at 30 seconds notice. Paul's jumped on to have a chat with us. Are you telling me that the West of Scotland can't convene a meeting through online chat or whatever, like we're doing, but wait for weeks? I think the West of Scotland absolutely bottled it, and they've waited for Clydebank to win the league to make sure that it doesn't impact upon anybody else.
I know, but look at the impact it could have in Darvel, though.
Yeah, and Darvel are the ones who've done nothing wrong. They've done nothing wrong, and I know for a fact that Johnstone Borough have made a mistake, and they've owned up to it. They've said, yes, we've made an error. It's an honest error, but why is it taking 4 weeks to make a decision on this? It's absolutely appalling. Absolutely appalling. And Darvel, who are fighting for their lives, are the subject of not winning the 3 points. I think at least the game had to be replayed. I think that's the minimum they had. Give us the chance to win the 3 points back.
That's what I thought would happen. That's what I thought would happen. The deduction to Johnstone Borough, Craig McGee's saying in the chat, and I just checked while you were talking there, that the deduction's not even shown on the official West of Scotland website yet. And he's said he's unsure if Darvel have appealed, but Darvel aren't involved in the decision. So,
well, Johnstone Borough have appealed against it.
So Johnstone Borough have appealed, so that's probably why it's not showing up. But Darvel can't appeal because they're not technically and by the looks of the statement that the West of Scotland have put out in the press, or that's been leaked to the press, Darvel aren't even involved. They're not mentioned. It's not a concern, if that makes sense. So,
well, I used the analogy yesterday. So, say you and I are playing against each other. You're playing for Team A, and I'm playing for Team B, right? So, if I get sent off, if I make a challenge on you and I get sent off, I get the punishment. You don't need to know about that. And that's the only way that I can think that they are trying to go around this, which is dreadful. Surely common courtesy, you would phone Darvel and say, before it even comes out, before any release is made, he would phone the Darvel secretary and say, look, this is the decision. Because, see, at the end of the day, the West Scotland League is a members-owned association because they vote for people who are in power, so to speak. I just can't fathom it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's certainly a bizarre situation. I certainly didn't expect it to take the turn that it has, but we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. But on the park, they've no other troubles to find either. If you include that game, they're now 4 defeats on the bounce for them. They're almost looking at running out of time, aren't they, to get themselves out? And with the talk of there potentially being 4 teams down, which I heard yesterday, then it's looking difficult for them to retain their Premier League status at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, losing at home at Drumchapel yesterday 3-2 that's a wee bit of a kick, isn't it? So yeah, it doesn't look particularly well for them. And listen, Michael has come into a job that wasn't the job that was advertised for him, I don't believe. But what will be interesting this year to see how they react to come back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the thing for me as well, they're on a wee run where they're in the midst of a run of lots of home games, and they obviously lost last week to Cumnock. They've lost this week to Drumchapel. They play Benburb at home next Saturday, which will be a massive one, and then they play Troon at home again in midweek. If you're a manager, you're looking at those home games thinking we'll pick, like we talk about that Darren Henderson did at Hurlford, winning those games at home to keep themselves in the division. You're looking at those games to try and win, and that'll be even more disappointing to be getting beat at home. Will be even more of a stinger.
Yeah, because your home's your own territory, isn't it? And that's where you expect to get your points. What do you always say? Win your home games and try and get a draw away, and that's what builds successful seasons. And it's just not really happened this year for Darvel.
I know. Shot's got a good point at home again. It's one of those ones. At home to Troon yesterday. It's one of those ones where last week they get stung with a last minute goal to lose the 3 points, but they've picked up a point. They've picked up another point. It moves them to within a point of Benburb, which is important if they're trying to get out of that bottom 3. So I mean, it's 3 draws in the bounce for them. So they're picking up points, but John McKean will probably look at a couple of those as maybe ones that got away, won't he? Because they could, if you could just turn those draws into a wee 3 points here and a wee 3 points there, it would have made such a difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because every draw is 2 points lost, isn't it? And I've got a feeling in my gut. I think Shots will stay up.
Do you?
Yeah. I think your 3 go downs, the Bens, Gartcairn, and Darvel.
Mm-hmm.
The Bens, I mean, they went in there, the 2 Winters brothers. I mean, was it David that played 70 minutes last week?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, it's just taking a turn for the worse for them. But I think John's got enough steeliness of him. Let's be fair, we never thought Shots would be in the league this year. When they get promoted last year, it was out of the blue. But they're doing a good job, and I think if there's a team moulded in the image of the manager, it's probably Shots.
Interestingly, they play Johnston Borough midweek, which will be interesting to see if there's any hangover for the Scottish Cup for Johnston Borough. They go to Hurlford and then they play Benburb at home, so that could be like a cup final, really.
The Bens gives a big one.
And Darvel have still got Benburb to play twice as well, so it is still interesting at the bottom just to see where it could go, because if you're sitting in the Benburb dressing room, although as you said they beat Pollock last week, that was their first win in 10, then you're trying to hope that you can take that into Saturday, and I think they went in front and then ended up losing 2-1. So you're disappointed again, but then you've got 2 games against Darvel and 1 game against Shot. So you've got Benburb have got it in their own hands. If they want to stay up, they need to go and win those games.
Yeah, no, it's a really difficult running for them. Really difficult running for them. The 2 games against Darvel, that's going to be really interesting. I'm going to try and get along to Tinto Park to watch the home game for the Bens. Yeah, and it's really consequential what will happen in the league.
Do you think if you were down there, you would rather play teams that are round about you, or would you rather play a team like, say, Beath or Pollock or Cumnock, who have got nothing to play for, but maybe have got better players?
So I said yesterday I would rather play teams that are around me because it's cup finals. So if you're playing against Pollock and Beath and these sort of mid-place teams, not to say that they are not wanting to win, but if it was me personally, I would rather play against a team that I know I need to beat because it gives you more appetite, or it certainly should give you more appetite, and it certainly should give you more drive and anticipation and that sort of desire. That's maybe wrong in other people's minds, but I would rather play. It's like heavyweight boxing championship, isn't it? I'd rather be in a fight that I know I need to win.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also as well, you look around your dressing room and you try and see what kind of boys you've got and what kind of mentality you've got for those games, because you know that the games against teams run about you are going to be nervy affairs and mistakes are going to be costly. Whereas you could look at some teams and think we might actually be better going to play away against a better side, going to like a Troon on a lovely surface and play well there. And, so I suppose it really depends what you've got in your dressing room as well, doesn't it?
And that will show the character of the guys you've got in the dressing room.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, so we'll move on to the first division. Now, Des, you'll be delighted. Renfrew getting a come from behind 2-1 victory over Maybole. Obviously, as I say every week, my best pal's the manager of Maybole, so he was really disappointed after the game, but such is life. But a good solid win for Renfrew when you're at the top of the table and you're playing a team maybe struggling down the bottom. You just have to go and beat them, don't you?
You just have to win. That's it. I spoke to Jimmy in the morning. He said there was a few issues. A couple of guys having to have fitness tests in the morning, etc. as well. But what can you do? You can only win the games that are in front of you, and we're doing that. We're winning. I still think there's a bit of work to be done. But as I say, I've never hidden the fact I'm a Renfrew man. I'm a Renfrew fan. Also been involved with the club. We can only beat who's in front of us, but I still think there's a wee bit of work to be done. Athley have got 324 games still to go. But yeah, I'm sure George will be disappointed because he's done really, really well. He's in there, he's steadied the ship at Maybole. But for me personally, yeah, I'm just glad we get the win.
Mm-hmm. Aye, definitely. And looking at the remaining fixtures, so they've got Vale of Clyde and then Petershill. Now, I'd say maybe 6 or 7 weeks you'd be looking at Vale of Clyde thinking that's a game we can go and get a result. Vale of Clyde were down the bottom third of the table, but they're on some run as well at the minute. So it would be a difficult game anyway, because John Hughes, friend of the show, he's got a really good side there. I really like them. It was always going to be difficult, but you're thinking, right, we've got a team near the bottom, and then we play Petershill, but it's going to be 2 really tough games, isn't it? If they're going to get anything from them.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. I think it was probably when not picked up as well, but when the Vale Clyde beating Glencairn 1-0 at home yesterday, that's a massive result. But also, I also think Athley beating Petershill 4-0, that puts Petershill right out the game. That puts them. I don't see Petershill being anywhere involved in the promotion chase. I think that was again. But Atherley, with all these games in hand don't mean points in the bag. It's going to be tough for them.
No, I think looking at the league, I think for me, in my uneducated opinion, I think Renfrew and Cowan have secured the promotion spot, 2 promotion spots out of the 3, I think. And then it's down to Atherley to whether they can keep winning games. They've got so many to catch up on, but I don't know where they'll finish in terms of the top 3, but I think the top 3 just now is where it's going to be. I think Rutherglen last week, losing last minute to Renfrew, is obviously a wee bit of hangover then losing to Vale Clyde today. And as you said about Petershill, I just think that the top three that's there just now will be the top three at the end of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I also think that Kilbirnie beating Thornwood 4-2 gives Kilbirnie a good, and again that's a team that's close to my heart. I think that gives Kilbirnie a wee bit of breathing space as well, because they were getting sucked back into it, and I wouldn't want to see them there.
Aye, they were getting sucked back into it, but now it just shows you how quickly it can change, because we were talking about them potentially being in bother, and now you look at the league and they've got games in hand over Ardrossan, they've got games in hand over Cumbernauld, Vale Clyde. They win those, they go up, they could end up at 7th, 8th position, you know, and then you're thinking, what was all the panic for? And we're talking about them potentially getting dragged into a relegation fight.
I know. Again, that first division, it's, as we always say, it's the tightest and most competitive league that we've got at our level, and it's why we love it. I just want us to get out of it.
I think you will. I think you will this year. I think this is. I think you've done the business. So the game I was at yesterday, I was at Cowan via Meadow. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great advert for our level of football. It was really good entertainment for the neutral. Not a massive amount of silky football played, to be honest, but I don't think the park is conducive to that. But I heard Jamie's interview after the game, and he was saying about them the way they defended. I feel that Cowan didn't really have to work that hard for their goals, if that makes sense. It was one each at half time. Cowan took the lead through a George Sewell own goal. It was actually a great header, to be fair. He attacked it really well and headed it down into the ground.
Jamie did allude to that in saying that he didn't feel that Cowan had to work hard to get their goals.
No, I wouldn't say they did, to be fair. Cowan had a couple of chances early. They had a really good chance early on, and then they took the lead through that own goal. Then Irvine Meadow struck back a long strike for Ross McKenzie. And then the second half, the weird thing was when I heard Jamie's interview, see the second half, Irvine Meadow came out really strongly, took the lead early on, but then they allowed Cowan to score within a minute of them taking the lead, and then Cowan got the winner. So it was just, I think if they'd managed to hold on to that lead a bit longer, they could have done all right. But it was, I would say, although it was fairly even, I would say Cowan probably just edged it. But interestingly though, Des, right, and this is not a criticism, right, but I've watched Cowan twice now, and I've heard, obviously, about Kevin doing an unbelievable job, but they don't play a lot of football, you know. Like, but I think that's maybe to do with the park, you know. But they don't set up. I was expecting, I don't know, maybe if I've read it wrong, but I was expecting from Kevin's background and the way he speaks and stuff like that they would be total football, you know, i.e. like some of the guys that we know around the divisions. But they're not really, you know, and again, that's not a criticism because they're winning games and they're getting the job done. But it was just interesting. I don't know if you've had the chance to see them this year, or if you saw Kevin's teams before, and maybe I've read it wrong.
I seen them at the start of the season. I'm trying to think who they were playing. Troon, I think I seen them at the start of the season, and I thought they were quite direct.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's not a criticism of Kevin, because at the end of the day, if you're getting productive football and you're producing results, then what can you say? I thought they were all right. I think it was the best team I've seen. I actually thought Troon were the better team in the day, because I thought they play really good football. They move the ball around well, but at the end of the day, points is what counts. And what Kevin's done, I know obviously Kevin and his dad obviously come from St Roch's and trying to play football, trying to do what they can do. You've got to give him all the acclaim that you can. He's done fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But see if being direct gets you wins and gets you through the leagues and gets you to the promotion. I'm sorry, but was it? Remember years ago, was it Wimbledon? They were the Sam Allardyce as well. Bolton.
I know, and I think you've got to, sometimes you've got to recognise it. What they do is they've got two wingers. They play a kind of 4-2,
Do it well.
4-3-3 almost, you know, and they've got two wingers that are electric, and they try and hit them early doors and spread and make the park really, really big, which was good, and they do it really well, and the results have shown this season. But it's just maybe I was going
to as well. And Gavin was always a really big threat.
Mm-hmm. Aye, maybe I've just kind of read it wrong, but I remember seeing a couple of comments in the Coinning Facebook page at the start of the season about this playing out for the back's not going to work and stuff like that. So maybe there's been an adjustment there, you know. And like I said, the park was pretty poor for trying to play football. I certainly, if I was a centre half, I wouldn't be wanting to get the ball off my goalie in that park. Put it that way. Definitely
fair,
not.
It was poor at the start of the season. The game I was down at, it wasn't looking the best.
Aye, no, definitely. Okay, mate, we'll jump into the second division now. Interestingly, the top teams, it's really opened right up at the top of this division now, isn't it? With Muirkirk beating Neilston. That was a massive result for Ross Cusick and his Muirkirk side, wasn't it?
I would say that's probably the result of the day. We've spoke about it, saying how he's got such a young team. It's basically a 20s team. But these guys have got, I said yesterday, it was probably the naivety of youth that they don't care. Just go and play. Just go and get on with it. I know Andy Lightford will be absolutely pulling his hair out, what's left of Andy. But it will be. But do you know what? Where have Muirkirk ever been at this level? When I was refereeing, when I was back at Muirkirk, were always I don't want to use a bad word or whatever, but Muirkirk were never a challenging team, never a team going to win leagues. But do you know what? Bloody good on yous. I'm so delighted for them and so delighted for the gaffer as well, because these young guys are just coming in, going for it. I don't think this league's done. I think there's a few moves that were made in this league.
I think so. I think I would like to see it if it could go down to the wire. You would like to see it. And as I said, I watched Muirkirk against Whitlett's. Conditions weren't great. It was that day that it was wind and rain. And I heard Ross's interview after the game, and he was talking about how the Muirkirk game, and then there was the game after, he felt there wasn't much in it, and then they were really poor against, was it Maryhill that they get beat? Was it?
They get beat
right?
Maryhill, yeah.
And he said that was one that didn't turn up. So they've had it. What I'm really impressed with, Des, I don't know about you, for such a young squad, to be up the top end of the table all season, and then to have a dip where you lose a couple of games, you don't win in 3, and then to pick it back up again, you know, because we always talk about young players not having that mentality nowadays, but his side have shown that they do.
It's it's resilience, isn't it? They've came back from it, and it'd be very, very easy for these young guys to go, oh, do you know, we've lost 3, but we're going to sit mid-table. No, you don't sit mid-table. You're sitting in third. Push on and go for it. I mean, you're looking at yesterday. I mean, Larkhall beating Whitletts as well. Let's Muirkirk right back into it. They're going to have a massive say in this league. And I'm delighted. I'm honestly delighted for Ross, delighted for the young boys. What I would like to see is, I would like to see the squad stay together next year, because I can guarantee you that the Premier League teams will be like vultures. They'll be looking around that team, because these young guys are showing they've 21, 22 years old now. They've potentially got 80 to 100 games behind them. That's how you build good teams.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. And we know that money can be crazy at the top end, but if you're trying to build a team and you maybe don't have the budget of your top end teams in the Premier League, why are you not looking at Muirkirk and Thorn and teams like this and going and seeing where these young boys are, that you can go and pick them and take them away and go and play them in the top division? You know, it just makes sense. I don't understand why. I know Auchinleck have done it for years. They've done it for donkeys all the way back to when they took all those boys for Anbank, went on to win the Scottish Cup and things like that. But I don't know why other teams don't do more of it, to be honest.
That's what I'd be doing. I can guarantee it 100%. That's what I'd be doing if I was at Kilburnie and Meadow when we were there in Renfrew. I'd be going looking at teams like that because these guys are probably, I don't know, but I would imagine they're Ayrshire and Glasgow based. You'd be going looking at them and saying, right, I need X, Y, Z. That's the players you'll be looking at. Ross won't thank me for saying that. But
I know he's going to be writing. He's going to text me in a minute, probably.
that's it. But again, and that's testament to Ross because Ross could potentially move on up the ladder as well.
I know it's interesting when you come in. So he's obviously come in from 20s with a full team, if you like, and we've saw it at other places where that's happened. And then if they boys then move on, where does that leave him? That kind of thing. It's kind of what's his thinking? But it'd be interesting. But apparently the man in the middle had a busy afternoon, Des, at Lark Hall. I don't know if you've heard, but Whitlets were down to 8 men in that game. I don't know. I haven't seen a match report. I haven't heard anything about what's going on or why, but they're not going to Lark Hall's hard enough at any time.
I've not seen it. Going to Gasworks Park is a brilliant playing surface. I've not seen it. But what I would say is Whitlets need to be aware just now. They need to, I know they've got the new management team in, they need to make sure that they still keep picking up points. They're dropping too many points for me. I think it's just happening. It's just happening. So I would like to see them listening about. And I also think that Andy Whiteford at Neilson, I think that Andy will be really on top of the boys this week. I know we spoke with Scott Perry and he thought he could see a wee wobble coming, but I've got a soft spot for Neilson. I would really, really like to see Neilson get something back up there.
There's obviously Johnny's internet, they've still got the dial-up down in Ayrshire, so I'll dive in. So I believe, if I'm jumping in for you, still talking about the Lark Hall and Whitlets game.
Yeah, no, I've just covered that one, mate. I've just covered that. Saying I just think that Whitlets are starting to drop points when it's unnecessary. Not unnecessary because you never want to drop points. I'm just thinking that it's maybe too many drop points that's at this point of the year.
I think so as well, but you're seeing it looks like the pressure's getting to the three of them. Because obviously touched on yesterday's show with, I know it's back-to-back wins from Muirkirk, it was a massive one yesterday, but touched on the fact that they dropped points in 3 games in a row. Neilson obviously losing yesterday, they dropped points a few weeks back. I think it's just the pressure because you need to remember these are teams who, excluding Muirkirk, but they've not done particularly well. These are teams who have been relegated last season, so they're no used to being in this position. It'll take a bit of time. A big result for me yesterday, and it's the first one you can see scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Bellshill 3, Cambuslang 0. We've obviously talked. There's Jonny back.
I don't know what is going on tonight, honestly.
Oh, you've not put the money in the meter?
I think Bellshill 3, Cambuslang 0. That's an absolute kick in the stones to Cambuslang.
But no surprise, though.
It's not a surprise. It's not a surprise. But Cambuslang shouldn't be at this point. Paul McCall will be absolute raging. Absolute raging.
Johnny, you're hosting again.
I was talking about I don't know where you have been, but did you hear about
Des he covered the Lark Hall game. Are you wanting to put in that wee thing you told me yesterday about the game, or
I saw something on social media that somebody had said that somebody for the Lark Hall committee had stuck a hidden a Whitlets player, but I don't know. I've obviously not had that confirmed or anything. I don't know.
I've not seen it
about it, but I saw somebody had wrote something on Facebook or X or something, and somebody had commented saying, "I take it it's okay to stick your head in a 17-year-old boy or something like a committee member to stick your head in a 17-year-old boy. So I don't know what's going on there. Like I said, unconfirmed reports, purely rumours. But if you know anything, put it in the comments.
Well, I'm going to go, right, because I'm at my mum and dad's for dinner, and I need to take my auntie up the road. So I can't jump back in if your dial-up freezes this time, Johnny.
Mate, I don't know what's going on with me today.
It's fine, I'll cover it.
Right, I'll leave you to it, lads. See you later. Right,
Cheers,
bye.
mate.
Do you know what happened there, Des?
What happened?
So I've got a router that I plug into my computer so that I've got a stable connection.
Obviously, doesn't work then, does it?
And then my router just switched it so fast, so I've had to go into the Wi-Fi. So madness.
Johnny, I'll be on the phone to your supplier.
Mate, honestly, it's stressing me out. Honestly, this is I suppose this is the downside of doing these things live, isn't it? But it's good fun. So do you talking down the bottom? So I think St Anthony's are away. They're gone. Craigmart obviously away. Fourth have got games in hand to keep themselves up. They've got Craigmart twice, which they'll be looking at as games that they can win. So who do you think's the third team that's going to go down with St Anthony's and Craigmart? Fourth, Canby, Les Mahago. Could Yoker get dragged into it?
I think Cambuslang are in trouble. I think they're in trouble. They're
6 ahead of fourth just now, but fourth got 3 games in hand.
I think fourth. I think if you look at it and you're being honest, I think fourth is the team that's away. Cambuslang are not in a good run of form, but I think fourth of the third team.
Aye, absolutely. Right, okay. We'll go into the third division. First things first, obviously, congratulations to Thorn on securing promotion, back-to-back promotion, some achievement for them.
And that's why we have the pyramid, isn't it? That's why we bring these teams in. They're forward thinking. Them and Johnson Borough are where I live. They're the closest teams that I would go and watch if I wasn't going to watch Renfrew. But no, brilliant, really well deserved. They're a really good team with good clubs set up, good club structure as well. So, and I can only see them. I think they'll be really consistent next year. I don't see them having any issues regarding coming back down. So, not brilliant, absolutely fantastic for Thorn.
Aye, congratulations to everybody connected with Thorn. I think the way they go about it, I've said before when I was connected to Luga that they were by far the best team that we'd played. I was really impressed with the way they set up, the way they play. You can just tell they've been really, really well coached. And what's interesting for me, Des, is with their manager leaving halfway through the season, the wheels could have came off because it happens at other teams. You know, I know that even with the assistant taking over, sometimes you have an assistant. I mean, look at the team I just mentioned, Luga with their manager leaving, and then the assistant manager goes in and then he's away within 3 or 4 games, you know. So the wheels could have came off, but it's a testament to the club that they've no missed a beat.
No, there's not been a bump in the road, has there? They just carried on, which is, as you say, testament to the club. So, no, thoroughly deserved, and I'm delighted for them.
Mm-hmm. Kilsyth beating Ardea, big win for Kilsyth. I don't know if you get the chance, Des, have a look at the Ardea Facebook page and have a wee watch Sean Kenny's comments, the Ardea manager, after the game. I don't know what's been said to Sean or whether he's heard something from the Ardea supporters, maybe giving them a bit of a hard time off the back of the result, because he's really strong in his comments, you know, sticking up for his players and where they've came from and where they are now and what they've achieved. And I personally think for them to be up the top end of the league challenging is where they should be. You know, I don't think they've got any divine right to be the top of the league or second in the league or whatever. I think they're probably where they should be, if not maybe even overachieving a wee bit. So I think maybe some of the fans, if they're giving them a hard time, maybe just need to take a wee check of where they've been and where they are now.
I've not. I'll be brutally honest. I've not seen it, but I think Sean is one of the most up and coming young managers that we have in the West of Scotland. I'm quite surprised that he didn't get appointed maybe somewhere else. I know he signed a new deal at Ardea, which is great. But I think that if the supporters are giving him a hard time, come on, where have you been? What has been your previous history? So no, you cannot be giving him a hard time. All
I
right,
know.
you go and get beat. These things happen. Sean is a fantastic young manager. Fantastic. He's got a lot of potential. He's taken your club to a position that you've not been in for such a long time, if ever at all. So just enjoy it. And if you're giving him a hard time, then I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know where to go for that.
I know. You need to be careful what you wish for, because I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you'd ascended to the dizzy heights of the SPL by this point, but we were talking about Muirkirk being down the bottom end of the old district league. I remember when Ardea were down there as well. You know, they were always kind of down the bottom end. They were an easy 3 points when I was playing there, similar to Muirkirk. And to see the change in the whole club since Sean came in, it's not just on the park, but it's the whole thing. You know, it's really is night and day. And I speak to, I'm good friends with Ali Brown, who's the goalie coach at Hurlford, and I think they I don't know if they still do, but they used to train beside Ardea, and he always spoke highly of how organised Sean is, how good his training sessions are, his messages, all that kind of thing. So I think, like you said, they need to be careful what they wish for, because I remember when Ardea were awful, and they're not now. They're a team on the up, in my opinion.
Yeah, no. You'll look at that. You'll look at the results, and you look at where they are in the league. And like you, I've been at Ardea numerous times. I've been at Muirkirk numerous times, and to see these two clubs on such an ascendancy is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I love seeing progressive clubs. I love seeing progressive managers. I love seeing people have ambition and going there. Ambition within reason, not to, because we've seen clubs with ambition and it goes wrong. I love seeing clubs with ambition. So, no, brilliant, absolutely brilliant for Ross and Sean. So, I've got nothing but respect for them.
And the thing is as well, like Kilsyth are absolutely rolling at the minute. You know, like that's them 6 wins on the bounce. They're absolutely flying. You know, so there's no. I don't think anybody would expect to go to Kilsyth and win any game now. The way that they're playing and the way they're winning games at the minute, they're absolutely flying.
Aye, and you shouldn't go anywhere expecting to win. Going back to Ardea and back to Muirkirk, you probably did go there expecting, oh well, that's 3 points in the bag. That's not the case anymore. And Kilsyth again are bucking the trend, so to speak, aren't they? So it's absolutely brilliant. Honestly, this is probably one of the best West of Scotland leagues through all the divisions that we've seen for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Greenock and Threave are still in the mix. Threave are coming. They're on the tails of the top three now. I know they've got loads, as we keep saying, loads and loads of games in hand, but beating Lugar 4-2 on Saturday, they're on the way up. They're challenging.
I tell you what, nobody wants to go to Threave, do they? Nobody wants to go down there. I'm a wee bit worried for Greenock, if I'm being honest. I think that could be a wee bit of a wobbly one, unfortunately. I know Gary's working hard down there, and I'm sure we all are, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. Threave are picking up points, Greenock are dropping points. I can see that being a swapping of places.
Mm-hmm. So who do you think will go up with Thorn? You think Kilsyth Athletic they're now 5 points ahead of Greenock. Greenock's got a game in hand. They're 5 ahead of Ardea. Level games.
I would say Kilsyth are probably in the favourite position. I would say they're in the favourite position.
And then see what Threave do. I mean, they've got, I said last week, they've got to go to Lugar midweek. They've got to go to Irvine Vicks midweek. Those will be 2 big games to settle where they end up.
Yeah, I think. I mean, they've got the travel, they've got the guys coming out of work, etc. Look at that time. Is Threave's location maybe going to go against them?
I know, because how do you finish work and then, because you assume that most of the boys down there will be for the local area. So how do you finish work down there and get to Lugar for a 7 o'clock kickoff? You know, like.
Listen, I know what it's like with guys up here finishing their work and getting to a game. Never mind having to jump in the car and travel an hour and a half, 2 hours potentially to get there. I just think I don't see it for 3 this year.
No. What about down the bottom? What about Irvine Vicks? Do you think they can pull off the unimaginable and keep themselves in the division? That's now 4 wins in the bounce for Ben Carson and the boys down there.
Well, do you know what? I hope they do. I really hope they do, and that's purely because Ben was part of our management team when we were at Meadow. So Ben's a friend. I hope he does. I think it was a really hard job that he took on, considering the position that Irvine Vicks were in at that moment in time. I hope they do. I hope they stay up. I think yesterday beating Villa even 4-1 was massive for them, and that will give them impetus and give them positivity moving forward. And that's all Ben can impart. I think what the best thing for Ben is, he'll have the summer and he can then go and sign his own players. He can then go and get who he wants in. He can put across the way that he wants to play. And I know Ben, in his coaching, fantastic coach, brilliant coach. It was shown at Irvine Meadow 20s development team. Get young guys in, mould them the way he wants. I just hope the Vicks stay up and Ben gets a proper go at it next season.
Aye, that was a massive result for them. They can now go above Villa even if they win their game in hand, but Glasgow United are sitting below them just now. I've got 5 in hand, I think, over them, but they've lost 3 in the bounce, still on a downward spiral at the minute.
They're falling apart. Getting beat 2-1 at home to Persia yesterday, that's a bad one to take for Glasgow United.
I know. I said last week I just can't work them out. They just keep. You look at their squad. I don't know how much change there's been in the squad, but I can't understand why they've not got enough quality to win games.
Well, you've got David Goodwillie up front. You've got Templeton in the middle of the park. You've got a lot of experienced players in there. I don't know. It's just falling apart.
I know, and it's interesting because I don't know if there's anybody that's connected with Glasgow United that's watching. Let us know your thoughts on the team just now, because we just go off what we see and we can't quite understand why the team's struggling so much. So maybe there's other factors at play that we don't know about. Okay, Des, just a couple of quick refereeing questions, if that's all right.
Aye.
Before we get into the 4th division.
I'll only referee twice a year now. I do the Masters and I've done the over 50s the other week there.
I know. But it's a couple of things that have come up from managers that have been on the show. I don't know if you've seen if you watch the show regularly, but
of course I do.
A few of the managers, one of the things.
Johnny, of course I watch it.
I know. I knew you would, pal. Thanks, but I don't want to put you on the spot. One of the common things that's come up, and I was a bit surprised with it, to be honest, was that they would like to see referees get, especially the younger ones in the 4th division, 3rd division, these kind of things, get a bit more support around them, like when they're refereeing these games, especially the younger ones. What do you think of that? Do you think is that support network there? I don't know how connected you are to it just now, but is that support network there for the younger referees? Or are they just kind of left to kind of find their own way, sink or swim?
No, there is support. So every association, whether it's Ayrshire, Glasgow, Renfrewshire, where I was, you've got what's called a minor grade advisory panel. So it's not to say that they'll be there every week, but most weeks at that level, at the 3rd and 2nd division, there will be someone there most weeks watching these young guys and then giving them an observation and giving them a phone call on the Sunday evening and talking them through their game. It's coaching. It's like what we would do when we coach players. So they are there. The difficulty is these are voluntary positions as well. So the people who are refereeing it, you've got to hope that the volunteer who's not getting paid, who's doing it for the benefit of the young people, they're there to help them. But as I said, it's voluntary, and you can't cover everybody. So if you look at the Division 2, Division 3, Division 4, I mean, what have you got? You've got what, 30 games maybe? You've maybe only got between Glasgow, Ayrshire, Lanarkshire, Renfrewshire, you've maybe got at the most 12 guys that can go and watch that. So you can't cover everything. But they are there. Please believe me, they are there, and they are there to help the guys.
Mm-hmm. No, it's interesting because, like I said, it's something that's come up quite a lot. I suppose the other thing for me as well, Des, is like, see when these guys are getting coached, is there a directive comes on how to engage with players and managers, or is it person by person basis?
Right, so you're going to come on to a pet peeve and a bugbear of mine.
Right? No, what is it?
Right. So when I get promoted to the Category 1 referee, right, so I refereed the Junior Cup final in 2010, which was on Lithgow and Largs. Right, about 4 weeks before it, I was refereeing Pollock Atherley. Right, so I've done Pollock Atherley numerous times, not even just that game, but I've done Pollock about numerous times and Atherley numerous times. So I would run by, so say it was you, right? I'd run by you and I would call you Jonny, right? I would run by Stevie Miller, I'd call him Bexy, Stephen Aitchison, Aitchy. I'd done the game, right? I'd done the game. Straight after it, Hugh Dallas was the observer. He came to watch me. So after the game, I'm in the dressing room. It was 2 each, and I gave a penalty. It was Robert Downs. Robert Downs never for a penalty. No like him. I gave a penalty, and Hugh came into the dressing room afterwards, and he's like to me, "All right, I didn't even know he was at the game." He's like, "Right, phone me on the way up the road." And I was like, "Right, fine." No, I thought I had a decent game. I think it was no. I used to always say is, see when I leave that game, see if nobody's talking about me, everything's all right. So I walked up the road, driving up the road, sorry, and I got a phone call from you and he said, "How do you think you done?" I was like, "Well, I think I've done all right." I said, "Nobody's talking about me." He's like, "Aye, you're too familiar." I was like, "Sorry?" He's like, he said, "They're calling you Des. You're calling them by their name." I went, "Well, I've refereed them about 20 times this season. I know who they are. Do you want me to run by you and go, see if I ran by you?" And I went, "And you're Jonny Baillie and you're being number 5. Number 5, don't dive in. Don't be stupid." See if I said, "Jonny, stay in your feet again. Don't."
Mm-hmm.
That's management. That's management. That was never encouraged then. But what do we talk about now? They talk about people having relationships, don't they?
Mm-hmm. I would like to see it encouraged, definitely. I can, as an ex-player, and I'm sure all ex-players are the same, I can always remember the referees that were good, like good with me. Do you know what I mean? In terms of you could ask them a question, you could talk to them, they would call them by their name. John Robotham I thought he was brilliant at it. You know what I mean? To be fair,
Yeah.
And actually, Hugh Dallas, when he refereed me, he wasn't. Do you know what I mean? So it is. But even going back to, I don't know if you know this guy, right? But I remember in the old District League, whenever we played Kello, we used to get a referee called Matthew Den. I don't know if you know Matthew, but I think he's Australian or he's New Zealander or something like that. And he was the first one at that level that would call you your name and have a chat with you and kind of talk to you. And it's so refreshing. It's such a difference because I remember, so I've told this story before, but I remember something that happened with John Robotham and he shouted me over and he says, "Look, I can't see it. And if I can't see it, I can't give it." And I'm like, I've got nothing to say. I can't be angry at that response because he's just being honest. It's like, right, well, I wish you had seen it because it would have helped me out.
I'll tell you a belter. right? I'll tell you an absolute belter. It was Stirling Albion against, was it Brecon? I think it was you and Moyes. Was it centre
Glamour
half?
tie.
Right. There was a foul, right? And as much as I noise you're going to get at Stirling Albion, right? There was a foul. It was nothing, right? It really was. It was nothing. And the crowd are giving it yee-haw. So I pulled him in. And he's like, oh, say, guys, there's nothing in that. And I went, Saturday. He's like, what? I said, I think I'm getting a Singapore chow mein. I said, I'm not sure. I said, I might go for a beef curry. And I'm talking to him and I'm giving the hand gestures and all that. He's looking at me. I went, you realise what I'm doing here, don't you? And he went, what? I went, everybody expects me to be giving you a hard time. So bugger off. And see about 3 minutes later, a couple of minutes later, he's ran by me and he's patted me in the bum and he's like, brilliant.
Nah.
Everybody expects you to be getting a yellow card. I'm not getting a yellow card. I'm talking to you for them. I'm not talking to you for you.
Aye, no, definitely. So if you're watching if there's any referees watching or listening, talk to the players. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay to.
You're allowed to enjoy football.
I know. That's what I mean. Just to enjoy it. We're all trying our hardest, and so are you. And if you actually want to, we can get on all right. You know, it just takes 2 seconds. You know, just to have a wee word.
To be fair, why the reason I'm a referee or was a referee is because I'm a football fan. I love football. I love the West of Scotland. I love what we do. I love talking to guys like yourself. I just enjoy football. And referees are allowed to enjoy football.
Absolutely, and I wish they did. I wish everybody enjoyed football as much as we do. Des, no, that was great, really interesting. Right, so 4th division. Who's going to win the 4th division? Des, Port Glasgow or Knightswood?
See, this is a hard one for me because I've got a foot in both camps. I work with the chairman of Knightswood, and I'm pals with Tam Jimison at Port.
Is the weekend's games had any impact in your thinking? Because I had obviously had Michael Pender, the Knightswood manager, on it last week, and I looked at their fixtures and I looked at Port Glasgow's fixtures, and I fancied Knightswood to go and win that, especially to win at home to Saltcoats on Saturday. So does the weekend have any impact in your thinking?
Well, I got a message tonight, and I know that Knightswood are struggling for players. I'm going to stay with Knightswood. I've took them for the start of the season. I'm going to stick with Knightswood. Sorry, Tam, but whoever wins it, I've got absolute massive. But I think Knightswood should see it through.
So I've flip-flopped here a couple of times, right? And I can't make my mind up, because see Port Glasgow going down to Kello and getting that victory on Saturday. That is a massive, massive result. And see, when I sit and I think about it, and you think about the experience in that Port Glasgow side, you know, and the experienced players that they have, etc. I know they've got to go to New Mains, which isn't an easy place to go. Might not be the best team in the world, but not an easy place to go. And I know they've got to go to WOSFL, and then they host St. Peter's. So they've got 3 tough games. But does the experience in that team help them get over the line?
And that's the difficulty. That is the difficulty, to see it through. Going to New Mains is going to be a really, really tough game. But I'm going to go with my heart rather than my head. I think Knightswood should have enough to do with it. Should get through it.
I'm just sitting on the fence. I really don't know. Maybe I'll make a decision after next week. Maybe Knightswood go to East Kilbride, Port Glasgow go to New Mains. Maybe I'll make a decision after next week. Speaking of East Kilbride, what about the managerial situation there? That's a strange one, isn't it?
So he signed a new deal and then he left?
Aye, I heard you guys talking about it in the radio. There was some rumour of some Saturday morning team or something coming in.
Is it somebody Hibs?
Somebody Glebe Hibernian. I might be wrong with that.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
It's just a strange situation, isn't it? Because Matt Steele had obviously stayed there when Aaron left to go to Wishaw announced he was signing his new deal, he's probably thinking, right, okay, consolidate this season, we'll build into next season, because they've got a great kind of catchment area, so on and so forth at East Kilbride, and you'd be looking to be up the top end of the table, but it just seems like they're ripping it up, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. It seems a strange one.
I know. I'd definitely be interested to see how that plays out, because we've seen. I remember when we were in the third division, maybe with East Kilbride, and they brought in all the kind of the Sean Winter and Barry Douglas and all that, those kind of boys in.
Malcolm,
at that time as well, and that didn't really work for them. So it just seems like I don't know, it's almost like they're fumbling about in the dark, trying to find something that works, whereas maybe just stay with the manager that knows what he's doing and stay with him and see where you go.
Yeah, I just leave it, just a wee bit of consistency, a wee bit of consolidation.
Mm-hmm. Aye, definitely. And what about Campbelltown playing Saturday and Sunday, Des? Have you ever heard of anything like it?
No. How can they? The thing is, they've also agreed to do it. They've also agreed, and the league have allowed it as well. So yeah, it does seem extremely strange. It takes us back to the under-11s, doesn't it? You're getting back. You're playing your Saturday. You're playing your Sunday. You're just cracking on with it. But no, not at this level. I'm not aware of that ever happening at all.
Do you think it makes a mockery of the level, Des?
Personally, yes. I do think that's a wee bit of an embarrassment.
I think we always say about how great our product is, and it is. I believe it. I love it. I believe in it. But I think when you see things like that, and you can, like, yes, you've got the travelling and so on and so forth, and they don't want to be coming through for midweek games, and I totally get that. And I know in Midtown Sheriff saying Campbelltown suggests that we assumed that was the case. But for me, it's not a good look. But I get it. But
if we want to be professional, you need to look professional, and to me that undermines it.
Yep. Aye. It's a strange situation. And then obviously we've got the third or maybe fourth player promotion spot in there. Kello is still the favourites for that. Again, I know they've got WOSFL twice to play, but they'll be disappointed to lose their unbeaten run against Port Glasgow, but they'll be looking to consolidate. And again, Kello and our team that I've got a lot of affection for. I'd like to see them do it and secure that last promotion spot.
Yeah, I would like Kello to go up. I would like to see that. I think it's really difficult because of where they're based as well, and what they're doing and how they attract players to them. But it was certainly times I was there, it was a great setup. So yeah, I would like to see Kello. I would like to see Kello go up.
Brilliant. Me too. Okay, Des, listen, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks very much for your time. Apologies to you and to everyone for the issues that I've had this evening with connections and things
You're
like
lucky,
that.
Bill.
I know. It's one of the downfalls of doing the show live, but we're committed to getting a product out to you live on a Sunday night. So apologies for that. Thanks for sticking with us. Des, thanks very much for your time and your insight.
You're very welcome, Johnny. Anytime at all.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. So, as I said, if you could like this video and subscribe to the Pyramid Promotions channel, it'd be much appreciated. Be available to watch me dropping out and PG dropping in all its glory after the fact. And if you're listening in audio form, you'll probably wonder what the hell's going on, because you've got my voice and then suddenly PG will pop up. So if you're listening on podcast networks, if you can rate and review, make a big difference to us as well. Check out all the other videos, all the other content we've got on the Pyramid Promotions channel. And thanks everybody for getting involved, everybody that's watched the show, and all your comments and questions have been much appreciated. Over the weekend, 141 goals in 37 games. Des averages out 3.8 goals a game. We always say you get value for money in the West of Scotland Football League. So if you're looking for something to do on a Saturday, find out where your local West of Scotland Football League team is, dig out a tenner and go and support them, because I'm sure they will appreciate it. Until next week, I've been Jonny Baillie, and I'll see you same time, same place. Cheers.